Here to encourage, enlighten, and empower women, I am your host, Alyssa Khadija, and this is the Girl I Got You podcast. Hello, ladies. Welcome back to another episode of the Girl I Got You podcast, where I get you and I got you. If you haven't already, make sure you follow the podcast on Apple and on Spotify. Leave ratings and feel free to leave comments as well. The more engagement, the better. Likewise, check out episode 3, where I dive deep into anxious attachment, what it is, and how to heal. So today is going to be a bit of a spicy episode, and if you haven't already picked up on the title, I am going to be talking about sexual sobriety and why it matters for women in this day and age. That said, grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine or whatever you like to do. Any preference at all is fine, and let's dive right into it. So, if you don't know already, I've been choosing to live an abstinent lifestyle for some months now, and I cannot express or stress enough how this has been one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. Abstinence is simply just abstaining or not engaging in sex. It's a little different from celibacy. That's more of like a religious thing. But me, I just choose not to have sex. It's not necessarily or exclusively religious. It's just a personal choice. Why? Honestly, the way the dating market is looking right now, I'm okay. See, I've chosen to be both single intentionally and abstinent because, again, I'm not wasting my time going on dates, texting all day for 2 or 3 weeks, and then it just leads to nothing. Likewise, with the whole casual sex and over-sexualized culture that's going on right now, I'm just choosing not to be a part. I literally cannot. So that's just why I'm choosing to be abstinent. And by no means am I telling anybody to do what I am doing. However, I'm just letting you know it's a good choice for me. So I don't really get much from sex. I honestly feel like these days, I'm 26, so my frontal cortex is fully developed. And let me just say this, because I know that there are women who are older than me and they are like sexual savages. But I, again, want something a lot deeper and something more meaningful. And with today's culture, there's not a lot of people that are out here looking for that, and that's fine and dandy, but just don't expect me to engage in the foolery and the nonsense with you. Okay? Now, it wasn't always like this for me, and I don't want to give too much of my dirty laundry here, but I've had my experiences, and I just know that it's not something that I want anymore. So without further ado, I just want to give some reasons why I think that sexual sobriety is important for girls and women and what it means to be sexually sober. So, honestly, when you live your life hot in the pants and just ready to go, it means that you are a slave to your urges. And if you always need to be in a sexual relationship with someone, you are going to settle for the scourge of the earth. You always need to have someone in bed with you. That might be an indicator of something a little bit deeper, but I want to keep this light as I possibly can because, I love my deep dives, but you don't always need to have somebody in bed with you. That means that anybody can just do anything, and because you're so codependent. And if you haven't already, again, please check out episode 3 where I go into anxious attachment and I touch on codependency as well. But that constant need for sexual pleasure is what oftentimes keeps us in these shitty relationships and these even shittier situationships with even shittier men. You see how that works, right? So just kind of going into it, Number one, I believe that casual sex and promiscuity are harmful for women's mental health. It causes low self-esteem. It causes a level of resentment towards ourselves, which we then don't know how to deal with and end up in another casual sex situation in order to pacify those deep or confusing feelings. But the issue with that is you're just on the hamster wheel continuously. You never get off. So, and let me just say, no pun intended. I did not mean to say that. You do get off, quote unquote, but you don't really get off of that hamster wheel. You get this very askewed perception of yourself. And this is where the very critical inner voice and the negative self-talk usually kicks in, right? See, I had a ex. We're just going to call him Tommy. And Tommy and I were dating, and I think I've mentioned this previously, but Tommy and I, we weren't necessarily dating. We were just in a situationship while I was in college, and he left me for some random chick who, if I might say, does not compare, like at all. But he leaves me for her. They're in this loving, allegedly thriving relationship, because what's so ironic about it is that she actually ended up cheating on him with one of her coworkers. And what he really liked about her was the fact that she was able to give him oral, 5 times, 6 times a week. And he really liked that. So he traded a woman who actually cared about him and loved him for a woman who was simply there to pacify and satisfy his sexual needs. But I unfortunately remained in contact with him. This was when I was a lot more naive and a lot more uninformed. So I stayed in contact. We would text here and there over the years. And I believe it was October of 2023 where we hung out. We hung out, we were drinking sangria, we're playing card games, one thing led to another, and the deed was done. And if you will, I started developing those old feelings for him again, but the issue with that is he never reciprocated those feelings. For him, I really believe that it was only sexual. Me, I actually loved this guy. So I was driving to work one day and I'm sitting in my car and I was crying because I was thinking to myself, how much longer am I going to love him? How much longer am I going to be the only one that's offering up my heart as a sacrifice while he's literally here just having fun? And even at that time, I didn't know it, but I still had some ways to go because granted, I was already on my healing journey. But again, healing is never a linear process. Sometimes you feel like you're up. Sometimes you feel like you're down. That's what I was going to say it is. So I asked myself, I said, why am I not good enough? Why am I not good enough for him to actually love me? And I did not know it, but that agreement to have the casual sex with him triggered that thought and that feeling of me being unworthy and not good enough for his love. But for me, I had to start asking myself, well, who the fuck are these people? Who is he? Who are they? Who is she? And this is just a side note. Whenever you feel like people are better than you or feel like you have to audition for their love and their acceptance, you stop yourself and ask, who the fuck are they? And why do I feel like they are better than me? And unfortunately, so many women walk around with this feeling of unworthiness or feeling that they are not enough because they're giving their body to a man who will not commit to them. So I just think that casual sex, promiscuity, everything under that umbrella is not good for women's mental health, especially if you are sleeping with multiple men at one time. My God, I mean, the confusion, the anxiety, the worry, it's just too much. And for me, I've never been more peaceful in my life. There's a couple of different reasons, but sticking kind of to the topic, me choosing to be abstinent and not engage in any sexual relationships with anyone, as well as any romantic relationships in general, as someone who is single intentionally, I will tell you that my mental health has never been as good as it is now. I used to be someone who smoked weed every single day. I would smoke a couple of times a day. There was one point where I was on antidepressants, I was on Zoloft, I was on Wellbutrin, then on to the Abilify. I mean, my inner turmoil was just so much. And there's many reasons for that, but the casual sex is one of them as well. Now that I have given my life to Christ, I do not smoke weed anymore. I do not take any antidepressants. I am single. I choose not to engage in any kind of sexual activity with anyone. Girl, my life, my life has never been this peaceful. There's so much solitude here. I can't describe it. Like, if I were to sit here and tell you just how peaceful my life is, you would think that I was like a Buddhist monk or something. But I think the difference now is I just don't have all that unnecessary baggage and energy clinging to my life. I'm not choosing the unnecessary energy and baggage, and my life is 10 times better for it. So, number one, I just believe that this is not good for women's mental health. Two, I truly believe that casual sex dishonors us as women. And let me explain why. When you're allowing a man, especially a man or guy or dude, whatever you want to call the XYs, when we are sleeping with them, especially if they have no intentions on loving us or committing to us, it's abuse to ourselves. Because deep down, a lot of us really want to be in a committed relationship with a guy, but we're so afraid of losing him, we would rather settle for no commitment and just a sexual relationship. And unfortunately, you end up losing him anyway, one way or another. See, what they like to do is use women who are, no offense, no tea, no shade, women who are a little bit easier to use as stepping stones to the woman that is actually hard to get with. So if I could put it in a more simplistic way, you are the placeholder. You are or were the placeholder in his life until he found the woman that he actually wanted to be with. That's why he could have spent so much time telling you, hey, I'm not ready for a relationship. I'm not looking for anything serious. I don't want to be in any commitments right now. And you're like, hey, okay, that's fine. I still want to be with you. Let's have sex. But then he meets a girl, and within a month, she and him are in an exclusive relationship. And that is so crushing to the soul. But if you know that you actually want to be in a committed relationship, do not settle for breadcrumbs. Do not settle for just having him conveniently there. Because for one, you are worth so much more than that. Two, why are you settling for things that you don't want anyway? Like just ask yourself that question. So it's not productive to just be sleeping with him and dishonoring yourself. Think about it this way. A lot of the times they don't actually like you or love you, especially when it is a situationships, friends with benefits, fuck buddy, no strings attached, whatever you call it. They don't actually love you. They like your body and they love your body and what your body does for them. But most of the time they're just masturbating inside you. They're using you as the tool for them to get off, and then they're gone about their business. I remember when I was in college, I met this guy named Seth. And Seth was like the goofy guy. He was really cute. I mean, chiseled abs, the dark skin, the haircut. He was cute and he was very charismatic. And I fell for the trap. I had went to his dorm. We were watching, I think it was Flash or something. One thing leads to another, and we are doing the deed in his twin XL bed. And when it was all over, me liking him, I'm thinking, okay, we're going to cuddle. We're going to do the lovey-dovey stuff. He was not interested in me at all. He literally just wanted to sleep with me because he slept on his back and I just had to like cuddle the air and turn the other way. And then he wakes me up at like 6 a.m. He's like, yo, you gotta go. And I just felt so, I don't want to say used, because I definitely did walk into that situation willingly, but I didn't feel good about myself after that. I didn't feel loved. I didn't feel honored. I didn't feel appreciated. I just felt like a piece of ass. And conveniently, I think that following weekend, it was my uncle's wedding. And I see how beautiful his wife is, or fiance at the time. She and him are dancing on the dance floor, and I'm just downing lemon drops. And I go sit in the car for a second because emotionally it was so much for me. And I cried in the car, and I was wondering, like, why am I not loved? Like, why can't I have this? Like, I just felt so bad about myself. And this goes back into the whole mental health thing, that no matter what women are trying to tell you, no matter what story they're trying to sell, casual sex and promiscuity and having no commitment is just not it for us as women. It is not. So situationships, they do not bring you fruitfulness. They don't bring you productivity. It's so much that goes into it. And I just think that women would be better off if they did not engage in that. And next point, this is where I'm going to get a little controversial. I do not like when women sexually objectify themselves at all. I know that we live in this time period where it's, free the nipple and, it's my body, it's my choice, and I can do whatever I want with it. But sexualizing yourself as a woman is just so unbecoming. Like, there's no mystery behind you. There's no elegance. There's no art in your seduction. It's just so obvious and overt. And it's just like, please put your nipples away. You're at a McDonald's. Put your ass cheeks. I mean, with social media these days, it's almost like watching softcore porn. You cannot scroll on any social media site without seeing a woman of whatever color with her ass just hanging out and poking it into the camera. Whether you want to talk about the gym girlies, quote unquote, who really are just going to the gym scantily clad in those spandex ass shorts and the crop tops with the biggest cleavage, riding the bike machine. And when I say riding the bike machine, I mean like their butt cheeks are just please put that shit away. I guess I'm not going to say nobody wants to see that, because I'm sure that there are a lot of men and some women who like that kind of content. But it's like, where is the grace in your curves? Where is the femininity? It's just, hey, look at my body. I'm desperate for attention. Pay me money. It's the same thing with the girls on OF as well. I hate the promiscuous and sexual culture that is just running rampant in our society today. And if nobody's going to say it, I will. It's disgusting. Now, point 3. I believe that casual sex and promiscuity puts you at risk for STDs and other unpleasant health concerns. So what do I mean by that? So according to the CDC, there are new STDs emerging every year, especially these days, including, and I'm going to try to pronounce this, Mycoplasma genitalium. Major cities like Philadelphia, San Francisco, New Orleans, and other places had the highest STD rates in 2024. Not to mention that in 2023 alone, the US, like, think about that, the US alone, we're not considering the hundreds of other countries that are in existence. The US alone reported more than 2.4 million STI cases. 2.4 million is a lot. And the issue is that there are so many people who are undetectable. There are people who have these diseases, but they might not know because they don't have any symptoms. They're just walking around sleeping with whoever unprotected. And it's just like, what are you gaining from this? Like, are you that horny that you need to sleep with anything and everything that is moving? You guys, there are literally women who are getting flown out to Dubai to eat poop for a handbag. There are men that are, for one, there's men that are making women eat poop and giving them handbags. It's too much perversion and immorality and slackness that's going on. And the fact that people think that this is normal and this is okay, it's not. And based off of all of this that I've seen, I would just rather not lay down in bed with someone and just put myself at risk, especially someone I don't know and someone I don't trust. I just met them at, the Applebee's or at the bar. Now, I'm saying this out of kindness. I'm not trying to bash anyone. I think this is me admonishing. I have been there. Every mistake or poor choice that you think you have made, I've made it. I might not have made the same exact ones, but the same misinformed and misdirected standpoint that caused me to make those decisions, I get it. So I'm not judging or bashing, but there's a level. It gets to a point where it's like, okay, where do we draw the line and say all of this sexual stuff it's getting too much? You can't go anywhere without seeing someone's ass cheeks. You can't go on a date with a guy these days and he doesn't expect to sleep with you in the car. Or, okay, let me tell you a brief story. So I went on a pity date with a guy that I had previously went on one date with. So I believe I met him in the fall of 2023. He is a teacher, so it was just before school started. So we went on a date. We went to like K-Pot and got, all the goodies, and no sexual innuendos, none of that, just conversation. We go about our way. I told him, honestly, I enjoyed myself, but this isn't what I'm looking for. I don't want to waste your time and I don't want you to waste my time. Cool. A year later, so now we are in the summer of 2024, and it is, I think, a week after school let out, and we conveniently got back in contact with one another, and we decided to just hang out, go on another date. Now, he doesn't have a car, which I kind of get, but I don't. I mean, he lives in the city, but people in cities have cars too. So already he is not my steez, not my cup of tea, because if I want to go out on a date, I'm going to have to pick you up in my car, or you're going to have to Uber there and Uber back. And that's just too much for me. So, we go ironically to K-Pot again, and we have all the goodies. We enjoy ourselves. It's whatever. But honestly, I didn't really want to be there, but hey, we're catching up. So he pays for the food, and he's like, oh, are you sure that you don't want to do something else? It's still early, which it was. It was maybe like 5 or 6. It's still early. Let's maybe do something else. I said, well, the Civil War movie is out and I haven't seen it. We can just, go catch that. And he's like, great. So I drive him in my car and we go to the movie theater. We're watching the movie. He's trying to put his arm around me and poke me and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I really don't want to get all cuddly right now. Like, I just want to enjoy the movie. I just want to watch the movie. And so we get out of the movies and we get back in my car and he's like about to order his Uber. And he's like, hey, are you sure you don't want to do something else? And I'm like, dude, it is 12 a.m. or just about to be. I'm going home. And what I'm about to do is like the dialogue back and forth between me and him. So he's like, oh, well, you don't have to go home. I can get us a hotel and we can just hang out. And I told him, I said, well, I didn't really plan on sleeping out tonight. And besides, what are your plans for us going to the hotel? Like, what is it? What do you want to do? Oh, well, we could just go to the hotel and kiss. And at that point, I just knew that this was, this was a mistake. So I'm just like, no, I'm cool. And he's like, oh, well, maybe we can go on the back seat. You can check that off your bucket list. I said, sir, I don't have a bucket list. I'm not going to the back. I'm not going to have sex with you in the back seat of my car in the middle of the parking lot under the street light. Like, what are you like? And it's just that right there, having to experience that over and over and over and over again, that just pushed me to this point where I would just rather not deal with the dating and the nonsense that comes with it. Now, last year I had a boyfriend, and after a couple of months of us dating, I realized that, yeah, I like you and I think you're great, but it just seems like you're more fixated on my body than actually getting to know me. I'm so tired of sex being the appetizer and not the dessert. Let me say that again. I am tired of sex being the appetizer and not the dessert. You're not talking to me. You're not getting to know me. You're not being intentional with me. You just want to skip everything and just take me to the bedroom. And I fucking hated that about him. And it was one point I said, you know what? I'm just going to take a break and push a pin in this because I don't want this. And that's why I tell women, you have to be okay with walking away no matter what. Walk the fuck away and do not accept anything that you don't want to accept. You'll respect yourself a lot more and you will teach that person exactly what is okay and what is not okay. But anywho, I call him maybe like 2 months later because some of my plans had fallen through and I was all dressed up, makeup done, hair done, looking cute. So I said, you know what? Hey, what are you doing? I know it's been a while. Let's catch up. Let's hang out. Let's go do something. And he's like, well, why don't you want to come over? Come over for what? For what? So you can do the same thing that I left you for in the first place, which is try to lead me to your goddamn bedroom? He's like, oh, well, it's been a while and we haven't done anything in so long. Why don't you just come? I don't want to come over. I don't want to sleep with you. And he really tried to ask me, well, why are you rejecting me? You don't want to be with me anymore. And I'm like, I don't know how me saying I don't want to have sex with you is now you considering me rejecting you, denying you, and not wanting to be with you. And it's that mentality right there again that I believe is the reason why I just would rather be single. I'm tired. I'm tired. You're tired. My dog is tired. The bird across the street is tired. Tired of the bullshit. Nobody has time for just the back and forthing and the manipulation and the taking advantage. I just don't have time for that. So, again, it's just too much going on out here to be sleeping with just anything and anyone because your loins are hot. Go take a fucking cold shower or something. Put your panties back on and go handle business, okay? Now, these aren't that many points. I think I have maybe like 2 more points before I get into like the closing arguments, if you would, of this conversation. But I know that this has been something that's very controversial these days, especially with the election and all that good stuff. Casual sex and promiscuity open us as women up to unwanted pregnancies. Unwanted, unplanned, quote unquote, unforeseen pregnancies. And personally speaking, you do what you do with your body. I personally don't believe in abortion, but I believe that everyone has the right to choose what they choose, but just don't force your beliefs on me. I won't force them on you. I think everybody should be able to have opposing opinions and still be civilized and actually have conversations to gain insight from one another, even if we don't agree. But I'm not judging anyone, because I've definitely had moments where I was scared, thinking, oh my God, maybe I'm pregnant, but I have PCOS. So I have irregular periods. So it's a little bit different for me and women who do have PCOS. We can't just track our periods on an app and say, oh, well, it's the 27th. My period is 4 days late. Maybe I should go get tested. No, sometimes with PCOS, you might not have a period in 12 months. You might have one every other month. It really just depends. But I've definitely had my own scares as well. And something that was so sobering for me is when I was, with that previous ex that I had just mentioned, and I had to go to the Planned Parenthood by myself. And while I'm sitting there waiting to be called back after check-in, I was so taken aback, because I'm like, wow, here I am, unsure of what's going on with my body after sleeping with my boyfriend, and I'm here all by myself. He's not here to hold my hand. He's not here to encourage me. He's not here to pay for anything. He's not here to do anything. I'm by myself. And this is what I mean when I say not settling for less than what you deserve. And not, even though me and him were in a relationship, it's still casual sex because we weren't married. And no, I'm not saying that married couples are perfect, but what I'm saying is when you marry right, there is a different level of connection that you have with your partner that you're just not going to find anywhere else, especially in a friends with benefits or casual sex situation. So if you don't want unplanned or unwanted pregnancies, I would highly suggest that even if you are going to do something, at least use protection. Save yourself the headache of going to the, Planned Parenthood or the CVS. Save yourself the money of buying Plan Bs and pregnancy tests and Clear Blue, because I know that's y'all's favorite. And for the life of me, stop going to the dollar store and getting those pregnancy tests. Please, please. Protect yourself and love yourself. And see, my greatest form of protection is just not having sex at all. And last but not least, I truly, truly, truly believe that casual sex, promiscuity, friends with benefits, everything under the foo-foo umbrella, it dishonors God. Now, I'm going to get a little bit more spiritual and sentimental when I talk about this, but I really understand and I get it now how it dishonors God. My relationship with God is the best that it's ever been, and I love that for myself, and I love that for us. But I wasn't always like that. And now that I'm more in communion with God and the Holy Spirit and the Lord every day, I see now the error of my ways. I see now why the things that I used to do were not becoming of a woman, not becoming of a child of God. And what's so beautiful about it is that God offers me, He offers you, He offers all of us grace, He offers us forgiveness. He does not deal with us according to our sins. Now, if you don't know, or if it wasn't obvious, I am a Christian. I love Jesus. He is my Lord. He is my God. He is my friend. He's my everything. He's my peace, my provider. I love God, and I tell Him that every day. And I'm so grateful for the mercy that He has afforded me, that nothing ever happened to me in some of those crazy situations that I was in. And now it's almost like the relationship that I have with God is what causes me to not want to do it. It's not that I don't do it because I'm trying to please God, but because I'm in relationship with Him, I genuinely don't have the urge to do it. Like, I have no desire to just sleep with somebody. May it change? I don't know. But where I'm at right now, it's just not what I'm looking for. So I kind of want to hone in on this. The Lord made you beautiful and pure. And every time we lower ourselves and we get with these men and do whatever, whether you're on OF or flying to Dubai to eat the poop, or you're just twerking and objectifying yourself online, or you're messing with the guy that you know you should, whatever it is. Every time we lower ourselves, we become slaves to our bodies and to our urges, and we chip away at that purity. And I'm not a Puritan. I do not engage in purity culture. But the reason I say this is because we are so divine as women. And there has been a war on our bodies since the dawns of time. And when we then sign up to be obliterated, or we sign up to put ourselves on the front lines, it's like, my sister, what are you doing? You don't need to sleep with guys and objectify yourself and seek their validation, because at the end of the day, you're not getting anything that you're asking for either way. Yes, I know these girls are getting handbags. I know they're getting trips to Mexico and Dubai. I know that they're getting money, but what are they doing? What does that quote unquote situation look like on the back end? It's not, listen, one thing I know is that social media is not reality. Social media only shows you the highlights of people's lives. That was a bar right there. The highlights of people's lives. And no one is showing you the tears that they're crying. They're not showing you the sicknesses. They're not showing you the heartache and the abuse. They're not showing you anything that's actually happening in the background, because they want to maintain this image. See, I don't have any image to maintain, because the things that I talk about, this is really my life. I have nothing to, well, no, let me not say that. I have a lot of stuff to hide. I'm sure we all do. But point being, when you choose to honor yourself, you honor God, and it puts you in a position to receive so much more. Because if you didn't know this, I'll be the one to tell you that depending on who is in your life and who you're engaging with and entertaining, you can literally block your own blessings. You can stop all the overflow and abundance from coming into your life because you have chosen to engage with this person. You have chosen to have a scarcity mindset. Because if you are holding on to someone or something so tightly that you refuse to let them go, that's scarcity. If you have $100 and you hold on to it so tight because you're like, man, I don't know when the next time I'm going to get some money, that is scarcity. And God, He's going to bless us regardless, because his blessings fall on the rich and the poor, the good and the evil. But you really stop yourself from getting the fullness of the joy and the abundance that God has to offer when you choose scarcity and lack over his abundance and provision. So these are just some reasons why I say that this casual sex lifestyle that a lot of women are engaging in these days, it's just not conducive. At the end of the day, you're all grown and you're going to do whatever it is that you want to do. But consider that perhaps maybe you living this kind of lifestyle isn't what you want, because deep in your own heart, you know it, that you don't want to be sleeping with these people, that you don't want to be with these guys, that you don't want to be doing these threesomes, foursomes, freaky orgies, whatever P. Diddy stuff that y'all be on. And that was just for entertainment purposes only. I have no vendettas or issues against anyone. That was simply a pop culture reference moment. Okay. You don't want to do these things. You don't want to be a baby oil bandit, but you're doing it because there's something deeper inside. There's something that's missing inside of you. But, my love, there is no amount of sex, there is no amount of drinking, there's no amount of smoking and partying and fighting that you can do to patch that wound in your heart. Using sex as a band-aid for a deep cut is nonsensical. Because at the end of the day, what tends to happen is you just get cut a little bit deeper. And that original wound gets cut even deeper. And you bleed out on everything and everyone. See, what really needs to happen is the deeper emotional trauma work. A lot of people don't like to do it or don't want to do it because it's scary, and I get that. But once you learn that there is healing and restoration, once you learn that it is safe, you are safe. You don't have to worry. You don't have to be afraid. It's okay. Once you learn and surround yourself with positive, insightful, good people, especially good women that actually want to see you do good, and they hold you accountable, and they say, hey, sister, this is not what you should be doing. I know you're grown and you can make your own decisions, but let me show you a different way. When you really get that for yourself, you'll be glad that you're not doing the BS that you used to do. See, I don't have that many friends. I'm more so of a family person. I'm so loved and I have so much love in my life. My life is so beautiful, honestly. And I think because I'm not mixing my soul and my spirit with somebody else's, especially somebody who doesn't even love me or care for me, I'm praying to our Father. I am practicing self-care. I'm taking personal accountability. I'm having grace with myself. All of these things add up to being the best version of myself. And these are the things that are going to help you to become the best version of yourself. And don't worry, I know I'm starting to sound like a life coach. Just know something is in the works. But forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. It is okay that you did what you did. I'm not judging because I've done what I've done. But I had to forgive myself. I had to go to God and ask him to forgive me. And it's so funny because his forgiveness is so free. It's so easy and it's so light. But that me living in a space of forgiveness, that right there has afforded me the freedom to just live my life and see beauty in everything, whether it's the moon, the stars, the birds eating seeds under the tree, the sky, the rain, myself, beauty in life. And I want you to know that the whole toxic situationship lifestyle, and toxicity it's not exclusive to just relationships. You could just be toxic by yourself. But when you really do that healing work, there's nothing under the sun like it. When you really do that work, baby girl, everything looks, feels, and is brighter. And it's so much better. So again, forgive yourself. There is grace for you and there is forgiveness for you. Don't be ashamed of anything that you did. Don't be ashamed of whether you chose to do something or not. Because I've had experiences myself where I was taken advantage of sexually without my consent. And I'll see how I feel about diving into some of those stories, because I know that episode is going to be a very deep cut. But you don't have to be ashamed anymore. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your poor choices. You were simply misguided and uninformed. And that is okay. But now we're taking accountability and we're choosing to be better. And I will say that these days I'm a lot wiser, a lot more discerning, and I know that my life is so much better because of it. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's episode and got some insight that you can actually apply to your life. I always seem to get so passionate about these, topics and things. And this is how you know that I actually care. I really do care about women, and I care about myself. And I just want to see women actually thriving and not living in this matrix of a simulation that tells you that, hey, just do whatever and don't worry about anything. Girl, we got to get it together. So, as always, I'm never here to judge, only here to help. Because when I speak to you, I am speaking to the woman that I used to be, and she deserves so much more patience and so much more love than I was able to give her. And you do too. You deserve the love and the patience and the empathy that you're not giving yourself. So again, be patient with you, love on you, take care of you. Don't let these men play you for a clown, and don't play yourself, okay? Remember, I got you, and I always will. Likewise, ladies, don't forget to follow the podcast here on Apple and on Spotify. And if you ever want to connect or reach out to me, you can follow me on my socials at Girl I Got You 111 on TikTok, or Elle Magazine, ELLEMAGAZEEN on Instagram. I am definitely working on a website and other fantastic things that will give you lovely ladies a way to reach out to me and connect. So please look out for that. As always, I appreciate you so much for listening in and tuning in. I love you. I got you. And I can't wait to see you next time. Kisses.